Okay. So coming up on today's Streaming Idiots, ta-da! Can't wait. vMix 29 was officially released this week. It's been out for a couple, 3 days. And we're going to be talking about specifically the changes that affect instant replay. So if you do replay, or you know somebody that does, now is the time to get them on the ball so that they will know what they need to know about what's coming up, because there's a big savings there with instant replay. We'll be back in just a minute with the pre-show. Okay, let's see. Check 1, 2, 3. Chair down a little bit. There we go. Got to remember to sit up straight and not slouch. Check 1, 2. Yeah, okay. Might be a tad hot if somebody can give me some help on that. And yeah, vMix 29. And yeah, oh, let's see. Do we have a task manager open somewhere? Yeah, let's put that over there where we can see it. Audio is good. Thank you, sir. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. You're welcome, sir. You are not in the way of that hurricane, are you? I keep forgetting where you are in relation to the rest of the Caribbean. But yeah, let's see if we can get rid of that. And we want to get that up where we can see it. And can we make this go smaller maybe? Just trying to get the desktop straight where I can see everything. And yeah, there we go. All right, what about from the bottom? Can we go there? We can go there. Oh yeah, that's good. All right, we got that good. And we got that. We'll put that there. That's good. I am glad you are not, John. Happy Wednesday, my fave tech. It is a happy Wednesday because it's a Streaming Idiots Day. Woo! I get excited about this. Let's see. Let's close some of this stuff we don't need. We've saved that. That's good. Yeah, so we're sending those right now. Huh. Okay. Well, what if we save that and we stop it? Yeah, okay. Good, good. So let's just load that and we're good. A little bit. Oh, interesting. No, yeah. Okay, good, 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 good. Sorry, I've got lots of moving parts here today. And I'll tell you about them shortly. There's a person at my side door at home. Oh, that must be Sandra. Sandra P. Sinclair going somewhere. She's going shopping. Okay. Could be dangerous. Could be dangerous. So, have you guys downloaded version 29, either in beta or now in final release format? 29.0.0.35, what I would call a dot release 3.5. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I'm always excited about a new vMix release. There's just, it's always something fun to play with. I don't use qualifier. I don't use instant replay. I teach people how to use it and I help people get set up with it and I test it, but I don't use it. I don't have anything to use it on. I would that I did. So it's always fun to play with it here in the studio, kind of like the lab. And we'll be playing with it in the lab today because vMix has made a claim that good, glad to hear it. vMix has made a claim that the instant replay CPU use can drop up to 50% with vMix 29 and VRX. Is it VRX? VMX. I better find out for sure. I think it's VMX. Let's see. Let's go to vMix. Let's go to, should we go to forums? Is that where we want to go? Forums, general discussion, vMix 29, change log. Oh, it's only had 2 changes since it was officially released. Gotcha. Okay, vMix 29 release. Huh. Okay. That's not what I was looking for. Well, let's just Google it. vMix VMX. I think that's what it is. Well, I don't see that, so let's say vMix codec. The vMix video codec, blah, 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 that's version 23. AVI, that's not it. Oh, let's go to, we've still got seconds left. Let's go to OMT, GitHub. Basic concepts. VMX. Okay, good. That's it. That's what I needed. Welcome, Ed. Glad to have you. Late lunch Wednesday. Okay. All right, so I'm ready. Are you ready? Let's get ready. Let's do this thing. Let's do this because we have the technology, right? The technology to do this thing. Here we go. Yes. Thank you, Martin K. Appreciate that. He did the intro and the outro. Love it. Okay, vMix 29 released just this week officially. The beta's been out for a while. For those of you early adopters, hope you downloaded and played with the beta. I've been using it since it came out. They always say, they always have the qualifier, don't use our betas for production. Well, how else are you going to know how it does in production if you don't use the beta? I mean, really. So that's the story with that. And yeah, I've been using the beta since I first discovered that it came out. I was probably a week late discovering it came out. Anyway, a lot of people are all excited about the fact that now instead of 4 overlays, we have 8 overlays. Instead of 4 stingers, we have 8 stingers. And if that's the world you live in, I'm delighted for you. But that's not the world I live in. Actually, what kind of world do I live in? Who knows? I don't live in the replay world either, but I am stoked about vMix's claim that CPU usage, hey Ron, glad to have you, CPU usage with replay can be reduced up to 50%. Up to 50%. So that is your reduction is up to 50%. I don't think that means that your CPU usage will drop 50%. We'll have to do some math on that. It's like markup, markdown. It's always a little bit of a question mark. But we're going to do some real-time testing with that today. And we're going to compare 4 NDI video signals of a basketball game with 4 OMT signals of the same basketball game. Basically, I've got a desktop set up over here behind me that right now it's just an empty vMix preset. And I'm going to load that up with 4 videos that that vMix uses when they demonstrate replay sometimes. I don't know if they're still using the basketball ones or not, but these are ones that they used way back when, and they were kind enough to share them with me. So we'll have 4 replays, and we'll start them all at the same time, and they'll kind of supposed to be in sync so that we can switch different camera positions in the instant replay. I've got replay here on my production machine, so I'll be operating the replay here, but I also have got, and let's see, do I have a desktop capture I can share with you? Yeah, here we go. I've also got over here, how can you see it best? I'll do that. Yeah, there we go. Task Manager. And so in Task Manager, we can watch the amount of data that I'm receiving and compare it with the amount of data. We can watch the amount of data I'm receiving from this PC over NDI versus this PC over OMT. And so let me bring up, can I? Yeah, I can. I don't have this prepped. I don't have this ready, but let me do this. Let me set up a desktop capture over here so that we can capture the screen and you can see the changes that I make as I switch back and forth. So I'm going to just come over here for just a second, and I am going to start a vMix desktop capture. And we're going to use OMT for that. And we'll just use desktop capture OMT for everything. So maximum frame rate is 30, that's good. GPU acceleration is on, that's okay. Show cursor, okay. And good. All right, so let's add that to the production over here. And we're going to go add input. This is OMT input, and we're going to say display one. That'll be fine. Okay, so what you're going to see is that's the desktop for the vMix Go i9 back here, and we'll be switching around that machine between 2 different configurations. Have I lost you yet? Okay, let me recap. I've got a PC back here that has 4 videos with basketball. Same game, different camera angles. I'm going to load all of those into this machine, and then I'm going to make them available to the production PC right here, first over NDI, and then over OMT. And I want to watch 2 things. I want to watch the Ethernet use, because these guys are all hardwired into my local area network. And so that guy's sending essentially 4 cameras over here to my production PC. First over NDI, well, we'll do OMT first. First over OMT, and we want to see what the data, how the data increases. And so this will kind of be our baseline right here. Where is my, there we go. That's the baseline right there. So somewhere in the 55 to 65 megabits per second is kind of our receiving So somewhere around that line, yeah, we've got it. And it's going to jump up into the 300s or 400s. And the other thing we want to pay attention to, and I'm going to switch over to this desktop shot for just a second. I know that's really, really busy, but down here, we're going to look at the vMix CPU and the total CPU. So right now, can you see that? It is pretty small. Let me see if I can just blow that up for a second. We'll switch over to this one. And I'm going to go in, and it is position. Well, we're not going to take layers. We're going to take position, main, excuse me. And we're going to zoom it in way down here at the bottom. We'll zoom a little more. So you can see we'll get the whole shooting match in there. So we've got the resolution and frame rate, frames per second, render time, GPU memory, hardly using any. That's amazing. And CPU vMix, and then total CPU. So we'll probably figure out, maybe we make that an overlay of some kind. Yeah, let's go ahead and let's crop it. Okay, so we crop a little bit from the top. Right there. A little bit from the bottom. Right there. Can we crop a little more from the top? And we'll crop some from the right. Come on, there we go. So we've got the ability to overlay that. And can we position it we'll put it at the top of the screen. There we go. And we'll just make that one of our overlays. So we'll make that guy overlay. We'll make it overlay 8. How about that? All right, so coming back up here to me, and now we've got that up there where we can keep an eye on it. Is there a way we can do the Ethernet thing too? Make that easy to see? Let's clone this desktop capture. Let me show you what I'm doing here. So I'm going to take this desktop capture right here, and I'm going to create a virtual input. We'll come down here, and we will we'll blow it up. And then we're just going to trim it down to the receive part. So we'll crop it from the right, from the left, and a little bit from the right, a little bit more from the left. Sorry, I should have done all this earlier, but you know, best laid plans. And we'll just get the receive portion, and we'll get that from the bottom. There we go. And let's leave it there for just a second. We'll go back to 8 on that one. Make that one 7. And let's put it up here, and we'll shrink it a little bit more. There we go. Okay. So now we can see in real life what's going on. We've got the download from the other PC, and then all of our other stats across the way, so we can keep an eye on them. All right, you with me? This is fun. At least I think it's fun. You may be bored to tears, but that's your right. You know, you have a right to be bored. In this case, you have a right to be bored here. All right, so we got what we wanted there. We're capturing that. We're capturing this right here. So we got that, and we got that. So we're good there. Okay. All right, so now let's go back to let's go back to this machine right here, and I'm going to load up what do you call that? A preset. So we'll come down here and we'll just say open OMT replay testing. Boom, there we go. Now you can see that I've got the 4 videos here, and I've got a shortcut that'll start all 4 of them at the same time and stop them all at the same time. And then here in settings, we'll come to outputs, and you can see I've got input 1, input 2, input 3, and input 4, which are my 4 videos, and they are all OMT. And the way the OMT is set up, whoops, didn't mean to turn it off. We'll go into settings here, and we've got alpha channel none, resolution is default, which in this case is 1080p, and then the OMT setting is default. So that means it's going to come in at the medium setting, whatever medium is, but we're going to just set it to default. That way we can change it in on the other vMix side if we want to. And all 4 of those are the same. And those are the only things we've got multi-view on. And then in a minute, let's do NDI first. So we'll turn that off, turn that on, that off, that on, that off, that on, that off, that on. So now we've got 4 NDI inputs, outputs. So we're going to go there, and we'll come back to that in just a second. And here on our PC, we have to tell our 4 inputs that they are NDI inputs. You with me? Currently I had them set up for OMT inputs, but let's do a desktop capture. Boom, there we go. And we're going to scroll down to the bottom here, and you can see I've got 4, number 84, 85, 86, and 87. Whoops, nope. I've got 83, 84, 85, and 86, but they are currently OMTs. And you can tell by the heading right there if you can see that. So let's go in and change this. We'll just go to General tab, Change. It's going to take us right to the NDI OMT Desktop Capture tab here. And we want the NDI, so we'll take off the OMT. And now we see we've got the NDI here. So let's take that shot and say OK. And then we'll come into number 84 here and do the same. Change it to NDI shot number 2. And then 85, we'll change it to NDI. I said OMT just a second ago, but NDI shot 3. And then change that one to NDI shot 4. There we go. All right, so we're good. Let's save that in case something happens. So we've got those 4 right there. That one, that one, that one, and that one. And I am going to go ahead and get them to, oh, and we can see, let's go back to me for a second. And our statistics turned off, but we can check it now, and we can see that our receive is gone up from, what did we say it was like before, 55 to 65? It's up 370, 380, so we're receiving data. Let's make a note. Yes, I'm going to get out a pen here, and we're going to make a note of NDI equals 380 plus or minus, and what is our vMix CPU is 10 to 14. Total CPU is 18 to 20, 21, thought I saw a 22 just a second ago. I'm going to write down. Oh, there's a 25. Okay. 18 to 25. So all this is NDI, 380 plus or minus, 10 to 15 on 10 to 14 on vMix CPU, and 18 to 25 on total CPU. So those are our stats. This is on NDI without doing anything. So let's go ahead and start the, scroll down here, start our video running and see how things change. Okay, so immediately it jumps up to 480, 490. And this is the first one I shouldn't have even bothered with because that was without anything going on. So now NDI is going to be 490 plus or minus. CPU, vMix CPU is going to be 12, 13, 17, 14. So let's say 12 to 17. And total CPU is 20, 22, 20, 21, 23. So we'll say 20 to 23. All right, that's with NDI. And now let's introduce one more thing. We'll come over here, turn those guys back on for just a second. And I'm going to go ahead and start the recording on the replay. So we're going to start filling up the drive with recordings. So 1, 2, 3, go. So now our recordings are going. And no changing in data, of course, because all the recordings are happening on this PC. And the vMix CPU is 14, 18, 17, so let's say 14 to 18. Okay, so it's a bump up of 1 or 2%. The total percent, 27, 26, 24, 26, 25, 23 to 27. Are you writing this down? I'm writing this down. All right, so that's the NDI. That's NDI with this amount of data right here, given those percentage statistics. You want to take a picture of the screen? That's a good idea. Let's take a picture of the screen. That way we've got this forever. So we're going to take a picture of the screen right there. And this is NDI, the very first one. Okay, so we're good there. Are you following along with this? Yeah, Michael Graves, glad you're here. Don't do a managed switch. Do dumb stuff. I'm not a bright guy. I'm an idiot. So everything is on a dumb idiot switch. All right, so that's our NDI. So let's stop the video remotely. We'll pause it. We'll restart it. And I'm just using vMix web controller on this PC to control that PC. And let's go down here and change our NDIs to OMTs. So we're going to go into settings. We're going to go to change. We'll take out, well, oh, we've got to go over to that PC and actually make the changes first. So let's do that. So we're going to come over here. Oh, let me show you the desktop. There we go. That's the desktop. And we're going to go into input number 1. No, we're going to go to settings, outputs, and we'll turn NDIs off, and we'll turn OMTs on. And the settings for the OMT, if you weren't here before, we're basically just using the default settings. So whatever it comes in at is what it'll be. And we'll say OK, and we're all done on that PC. So those are now coming out as as OMTs. Let's go back here for just a second. There we go. Now we'll scroll back to these guys and let's redo these as OMTs. Right now they're NDIs, so we'll just take that. We'll say change. Give me the OMT. This is number 1. You see the little OMT right there. So you know you got the right one. We'll go to the second video. We'll change it to number 2. Okay, is that right? Yep, we got it. Take the third video and change it to number 3, OMT. And we'll take the fourth video and change it to 4, OMT. All right. So now we can see in the title here, those 3 are OMT, and this one right here is OMT. I guess we should turn off the replay for a minute. And so kind of in a base formation with 4 OMT inputs, our receiving video is 350-ish. So let's make a note of that. OMT 350. Should have been paying attention to render time too. I took a picture of it before though. vMix CPU is going to be 11, 10, 12, 11, 12, 10, 12, 10, 11, 10. Okay, so we'll go 10 to 12. This is kind of in idling. And then the total is going to be 18, 20, 18, 19, 18, 17, 17 to 20. All right. Now let's start the remote video. Shouldn't really make any difference. So now you can see our remote videos are started. Well, one of them is. Yeah, they're started. Oh, I've got the wrong one here. Let's go back and change that one. I think I outsmarted myself. Yeah, there we go. That's the one I want right there, is number 1. So sorry about that, guys. It's going to take me just a second. And what is 1 here really needs to be 2, which is the third one. My brain is a terrible thing to waste. The third one has got the second video in it, so it really needs the third. There we go. And then the fourth one needs to have the fourth video in it, which is down there. Okay, now we're cooking. Now we're cooking. Why aren't they moving? We'll pause them, restart them, play them. Okay, we're not seeing any movement down here, but we are seeing movement on the remote PC, right? Nope, they're not all started. Well, let's pause them, restart them, play them. Oh, I know what's going on. Yeah, I outsmarted myself. I've just got one shortcut here. Let me show you. One shortcut, a start, a restart, and a pause, but it just addresses itself to the particular stream. So we got to go back and do all our tests again. Let's finish up with the OMT test, and I'll just bring the OMT keyboard over here and use that directly and not worry about the other one. Okay, so we're idling. We want to start our video. I'm going to pause it, restart it, and then start it again. So now we've got video that is moving like it should. All right, we haven't started replay yet, but we've got kind of in an idling position here. We've got 5:33 to 5:47, and then 13, 14, 12, 13, 14, 12. So 12 to 14, and then 21, 23, 24, 20, 20 to 24. And this is play, and then we'll do the record in just a second, which shouldn't affect the data, but let's go ahead and start recording this. Our data rate hasn't changed. We're still in that 5 range. Our vMix CPU has gone up from 12 to 14 to 12 to 14. Total CPU is going from 19 to, I saw 25 just a second ago, so I'm going to put down 19 to 25. And 12 to 14. And 550. And let's take a picture of this one. We're going to have to go back and redo the NDI one because I screwed that up. Okay. All right. So we can stop and we'll turn off the replay and we'll rewind. And now we need to go back to this machine and tell it that we want to do different outputs. So we're going to go back and do the NDI thing again. If I've lost you, we'll go back and talk about this more in the post show. So we got those on, those are NDI. We're saying okay. We've changed them over to NDI there. We've got to come back over here and change them to NDI. So we'll take the very first one, which is right here, input 83. And we want to change it to an NDI source, which is right there. Now don't let that fool you. That's OMT, that's just the desktop capture. So we're not changing that one because we don't want to change our baseline. So we'll do that one. Come down a little bit. I wanted to see if I could automate this, but I wasn't smart enough, so you have to watch me do it as I change every little detail. And this is the third one. And then the last one, we'll change over to NDI. It's right there. Okay. So we're good. So our idling numbers on NDI are about what they were before. We're not going to worry about these. Let's go ahead and put things in motion. Start. Yep. And then, so that's with everything playing. So we've got a 450-ish. vMix CPU is 12 to 14. And total CPU is 21, 23, 21, 20. So we'll say 20 to 23. Render time 5 or 6, 4, whatever. Okay, now let's start recording. This is really where the rubber hits the road. And the data rate still 450 to 480. CPU 15, 16, 17, 17, 14, 14 to 17. And total CPU 25, 26, 27, 25, 24, 24 to 27. Okay. And let's take a picture of that. Camera, picture, boom. Got it. Got it. Okay, so let's stop that. Let's stop that. We'll reset that. And we'll come back here to me. All right. So you can only see 3 NDI sources. Yeah, they're there. Let me show you again. So you've got this one over here. That's 1, and then 2, 3, and 4. So when they start, you should see that one playing. Whoops, see this one playing, that one playing, that one playing, and that one playing. So we do have the 4. They just weren't all on the same line. So we'll stop it, reset it, and come back over here. All right, I wish I had a way to do numbers here real quick. But the total CPU with NDI was 24 to 27. With OMT was 19 to 25. So on the low number, it was a 5% savings. On the high number, it was a 2% savings. On the vMix CPU, the NDI was 14 to 17, and the OMT was 12 to 14. So it was a 2% savings on the low number and a 3% savings on the high number. Data-wise, the OMT was on the recording in replay. The data was 550. The NDI data at the max was 480. So it seemed like OMT had more data than NDI, but had lower CPU. Let me look at my camera and see if I can see some of these shots and see what the render time was, if anything. Let's see, today's pictures. Render time with NDI was, when I took the picture, was 14%. And with OMT was 3%. Now that was just for the picture. Obviously it's going to range. But render time really might be the best way to judge this. Because number one, from my understanding, when OMT comes in from outside, comes into vMix from outside of vMix over OMT, it's already in using that vMX codec. So vMix doesn't have to do anything with it. It just passes it through. With NDI, it has to do something with it. Although, not the same thing. So, that doesn't mean anything now because we've stopped everything. Although we haven't stopped that remote PC. So what are the results of the test? The results of the test are, hey Dave, glad you're here. The OMT had a better, lower CPU, vMix CPU, and total CPU score. And the NDI had a lower data rate. And the OMT had a lower render time score. In fact, I don't know that the render time changed much at all. I mean, we're at 5 milliseconds right here, 4, 6, 3, and obviously that's going to fluctuate from second to second. But at OMT, the snapshot I took was 2. So it appears to be that it was probably somewhere in the range of what it is right now in render time, although it's higher than 2 right now. I guess I've got these NDI sources and they're still sending the NDIs. Let me turn that off and see what happens. So the data rate has dropped a bunch, down to 47, 49. The render time hadn't changed, down to a 3. There was a 3. But we can see right there, before it goes out of the picture, the data rate change. Big data rate change. Yeah, well, what do you think? What do you think? Got some questions? Let's go to the post show and talk about it. If I can figure out how to go to the post show by now, I'm sure I can. I'm sure I can. Sit tight. Okay. All right, here we are. Here we are. Let's see what anybody had to say. Did anybody have anything to say that was smart? We'll start out with the smart people first. All right, let's see. vMix social. All right, so we are welcoming Ed. Yes, we've got Ed. We're welcoming Ron. Ron's here. We're welcoming Michael Graves. And Michael Graves assumes I'm wiser and smarter than I really am. I wouldn't know what a managed network switch was if it bit me. Let's go to this. Has Martin ever clearly stated why OMT when NDI was already well established? Not to my knowledge. Not to my knowledge. My active theory is that Martin lost his buddy at NewTek. When Dr. Andrew Cross left, he was the father of NDI. When he left and went to Grass Valley, Martin lost his NDI advocate at NewTek. And maybe just decided, what's NewTek going to do with, what's VizRT going to do with. So, covering all the bases, let's do OMT. And maybe some, camera manufacturer that really wants to stay ahead of the curve, PTZ Optics, maybe they could adopt OMT in their camera as well, since it's open source and doesn't require the purchase of a license. Yeah. And Michael Graves says, I presume it's about escaping some licensing or VizRT control issues. We arrive at the same point. Although I said this 2 weeks ago and you probably heard it then. This is what we want to know, Ed. It is. All right. Ed says, should you remove the NDI videos before noting the load? Not sure at what point you did that, Ed, but what I tried to do was to load this PC, let me rephrase that, to change the output of this PC from NDI to OMT or from OMT to NDI so that PC is sending 4 videos via either NDI or OMT. And then here on this PC, changing the 4 inputs to receive the outputs from that machine via NDI if it was NDI or OMT if it was OMT. Once I did that, that became sort of the baseline. Baseline is it's sending video to this machine, 4 channels of video, 4 video streams over NDI or OMT. And, you know, here's the baseline now. Where did that one end up? 7 disappeared because I've got something on top of it. Let's try it again. Yeah, this is the baseline now. So total CPU, you know, 11 to 14%. vMix CPU, 6, 7, 5%. Render time, 3 to 5, and 44 megabits per second. So yeah, we'll turn that stuff back off for a second so I can turn something else over here on. Okay, and Ed's replying to Michael about OMT with lower encoding and decoding. And the real power is, number one, it's lower on that machine, but when it arrives at this machine under OMT, it doesn't have to be processed. It's just, you know, it's like speaking English. It's already speaking English. Boom. You don't have to translate to another language. Now I feel even dumber. Managed switches don't require you to be smarter. They provide you with more insight into the network. That over time will make you smarter. Or it will burn up what few brain cells I have left, Michael. All right. Ed says, true, in this case, it can only tell us the network load. We are interested in the CPU load also. Yes, CPU load, vMix CPU, total CPU, and render time. Render time is really where the render time is really the important statistic, I think, because that is how your PC is performing comparing one to the other. CPU is important. Yeah, it's good to know that. Data rate, that's important. Don't want to overload your network, but render time is really where the buck stops. Yep. And we got the 3, I think. Hopefully I explained that well enough. Next scenario would be during a transition. What kind of transition are you thinking of, Ed? Glad Jeep and Dave is here. OMT has 3 qualities, yes. And I used default back here because that would allow me to select a different quality here. And my understanding is that default is the medium quality. So it was default back there, default here, which gave us the medium quality. Had we made the quality go up, you know, maybe it would have made a big difference, but I just did medium because it was the path of least resistance. We could try it again on high and see. All right, dessert time. There you go. Dessert with lunch? Oh my gosh, you are with it. There's Jan. It is Wednesday. Wednesday, you know, Jan is crazy. Wednesday comes every week. Make a note of it. We all are good. We all are good. I like the Clippy. That's good. Otis is here. Late to the party. You'll have to rewind. SA is here. Is that Tom? I thought I recognized that picture. I agree. The trick is to begin to get general acceptance. And last night on the vMix Funtime live show, Heath shared something that I think will help improve general acceptance, and that is his use of the Raspberry Pi 5, I believe, to act as a decoder. And he showed it live, and he didn't show the details of it. But that's cool. You know, that's essentially the Bird Dog Play, I think, because it was an HDMI output. But the real hurdle for many may be to make a OMT encoder with the Raspberry Pi 5. So you've got to get a Raspberry Pi 5 and then get the little, whatever the kit is that allows it to accept a video input. I've seen those for HDMI. I haven't looked for SDI, but I would wonder if maybe those might not yet be invented. So that may limit you to the HDMI output of the camera. But you know, we'll see. We'll see. And NDI is no longer controlled by Andrew Cross. That's right. Yeah. And that's true too, Ed. You know, with the software company kind of being behind it. I mean, this OMT, it's open source, but there's no. I'm under no illusion that it's you know, it's not a community out there that has created this thing. It's Martin Sinclair that has created this thing. Sorry, I was trying to read and talk at the same time. And Michael says, Dr. Andrew Cross is now at Amazon working on Alexa. Oh my gosh. So Alexa's going to be an NDI source. Okay, working on that. All right, Ed says transition requires render resources. Be interesting to see what an NDI transition fade versus an OMT style transition fade. Help me a little bit more with that, Ed. I'm not sure I understand yet, but maybe we could set that up. Jan says, only time and community experience can tell how OMT compares in the real world. One thing is in the lab or studio, yes. OB productions under suboptimal conditions might show a different story. Well, one of the interesting things I think about this, Jan, is what Heath said last night, or maybe it was Tim. I don't think Martin said it in his blurb earlier in the week, is that OMT, or maybe I read it today, that OMT is supposed to be more durable under less than optimal conditions than NDI. And you remember when vMix had to go so far as put in, let's see if I can find it here, the FEIM feature, the faulty something, you know, manager, because NDI was glitching and causing vMix to crash. And so since Martin couldn't fix NDI, he made it, you know, kind of a preventative vaccine in vMix on that regard. All right, Michael, being the overachiever that he is, tested NDI decoding on a Pi 3, a 345 years ago. Aha! How did it work? Was there some sort of open source NDI that you could get for that? Ed says Heath's setup included a media player that was free downloaded from GitHub. Yeah. NDI to NDI versus OMT to OMT, how much load to make the transitions. So you mean if I loaded up my videos again and just put one in preview and one in program, and we switched them, and we watched the CPU? I can do that. Let's turn this machine back on. OMT replay testing. Yep, here it comes. And what are we set with? We are set on NDI. Okay, so this is NDI coming out to vMix. And let me give you this screen right here. And coming down here, we've got the 4 NDIs, that one and these 3. So we'll start them. There we go. And we'll make one of them live. Can we keep these guys up there for this? Well, we'll just do that one. So we've got that. We're watching 11, 12, 21. This is just a simple cut. We'll load that in. So total CPU 18, 20, 19, and we're looking for a spike when we do a cut. Ready, set, cut. 19, 21, 17, 19. 18, 21, 21, 21. We're going to do another cut. Boom. 20, 19, 24. Didn't appear to have a big effect. Let's stop that, rewind it, and go back and change our remote PC to OMTs. Okay, and then we'll go in here and change these to OMT. One second. OMT, that's the desktop, so we don't want that one. We want the first camera. And then we want the second camera, which is the third OMT right there. We want the third camera, which is the fourth one there. And we want the fourth camera, which is that there. Yep. And let's make, like we did with the others, we'll start them. Uh-oh. I think I did the wrong one here. What did I do there? Can I go back? Well, let's just get rid of that one. Let's go back to that one. That one should be an OMT, not an NDI. And it should be that one right there. There we go. Okay. So now we'll load that one up live. We'll put this one there. And you can't see where they are, but so we've got 17, 16, 18, 19, 17, 19, and we're going to do a transition with the cut, ready, set, go, 18, 19, 18, 20. Yeah, I'm not seeing where transition makes a whole lot of difference. Let's do a barn door. Did that make any difference? We'll do a slide. Did that make any difference? Nah, I don't think so. I don't think that's a thing. Yeah, I don't think that's a thing. Michael says, Die Caffeine is an open source NDI player for Pi. Okay. Make a note of it. Jan says, Exactly, Tom. I love it when people say that. It makes me sound like I'm smart. In a few ways, NDI has been disappointing and has not taken over from other more expensive and complex transport methods, but it has had significant effect on the PTZ camera people, with several companies now having adopted it. PTZ Optics, of course, I think Panasonic, don't quote me on that, maybe JVC. Yeah, but if it's no license required, open source, perhaps it might get greater implementation, especially when you consider the vMix install base out there. Whew. Yeah. All right. Pi can readily display full NDI 720p30, not 1080p30. Yeah, I think Heath was using 1080p30 and said that 4K was not a possibility, at least not on the Pi. Jan says it simply hasn't been accepted by enough vendors and customers. That may be true. I use it all the time. Most churches that I know that are running two vMix systems, or excuse me, are running two systems. One is ProPresenter or Easy Worship or something like that. You know, they're using desktop capture and using NDI as opposed to, you know, an HDMI cable between the two. I think it makes more sense. It's simpler. I think it breaks less often. The price, openness, and improved ruggedness plays into OMT. Yes, I agree with that. Gunnar has just gotten here. Boy, what did he miss? Holy cow. Be on the back row of choir practice. Watching this, that's funny. NDI has forced a lot of people to learn more about IP networking. No doubt. No doubt, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. All right. Rod says, what else does vMix 29 have? Well, that's about it. What else does it have? Oh my gosh. Well, how about all this? I mean, this is the list right here. This is the list right here. And this came from vmix.com. I'll pull it up for you real quick. Why not? I have the technology. Let's switch over to that screen capture. There we go. And I am going to go to forums. No, I'm going to go to download free trial. And I'm going to scroll down and release notes. Release notes for vMix 29, 27th of October 2025. And here you go. OMT, which we've been talking about. Instant replay, which we've been talking about. The fact that there are now 8 overlay channels and 8 stinger channels. There is a quick play button called Go. A little bit added to zoom, a little bit added to audio, a little bit added to search, a little bit added to triggers, and a couple other little things. But the two biggies, I think, are the overlay channels and the OMT and how OMT affects replay. And one of the ways that OMT affects replay, if my little pea brain can catch it, is that vMix is using the VMX codec to, in the multi-quarter and in instant replay, to record the cameras. And so it's a much, much lighter weight process of recording. And I think a lot of savings come right there. Plus, you know, and this has been a thing for a while, but you can send your replay different replay cameras to different drives if you want to. So you can really get a lot of horsepower there. And I think that's a precursor, just me saying, but that's a precursor to, 1080p 120. And you can get, it's going to be twice as much data or 4 times as much data. No, it's just a different frame rate. So yeah, so it's going to be twice as much data. And you're going to need either faster drives or be able to split the cameras into different drives so that you can have that 120 frames a second. It's coming. It's coming, folks. I promise you. It's coming. It's going to be here before we know it. Yes, Rod, that is what vMix 29 has. And John is using desktop capture. Now, John, are you using desktop capture NDI or desktop capture OMT? If you haven't changed anything, it's probably NDI. vMix has a new desktop capture called desktop capture OMT that you can download from the website. Let's see if we can go back and find out where it is. We'll go back here to that. Let's scroll up a little bit. Scroll up a little bit. Quick links. Here we go. Download vMix desktop capture. We're going to do that, and we can see now there are 2 of them, NDI and OMT. Bing, 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 bing. And these would be what you would put on your Pro Presenter PC, obviously. The OMT one works the same way as the old one did. Is there a note that it does OMT? Let's see. Yes, there's a note that it does OMT. So there you go. And if you want to do it for Mac, desktop capture for Mac, you've got some Sienna tools and the NDI scan converter. So there you go. Pro Presenter and vMix capture for Intel Macs 2021 and older. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Whoops. There we go. Did I not change that and show you guys? I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. Yeah, John's using NDI. Are there any limitations using OMT while working with Zoom? I think they play in different playgrounds, Ed. OMT is going to be video transfer, and the VMX codec is going to be file storage, saving video to your drive. I don't think that's going to affect Zoom, but we'll find out. Easy Worship has NDI built in. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. That's a good example. But Easy Worship may be paying to have NDI built in. So maybe Easy Worship will put out an OMT version that's $20 less. I don't know. How much does an NDI license cost? How long is it good for? Is it perpetual license? The ones in the cameras appear to be perpetual. And, the other thing that was interesting that happened with NDI is NewTek came out with it, and then BirdDog re-engineered it on their own. And so they have a chip, assumably a chip, that turns their cameras into NDI sources, full NDI. Everybody else that's done video has opted for NDI-HX. To my knowledge, I don't know that there are any full NDI cameras out there other than BirdDogs and anything coming from VizRT. So that's just me. That's just me. But what do I know? What do I know? Oh yeah, hit the like button. First one to hit the like button gets a prize to be named later. It's called vMix 29. Let's see. What else we got here? NDIHX requires a license because NewTek had to pay MPEG LA for their compression. Ah, a license for a license. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. So yeah, I'm thinking OMT could be a solution for a lot of things, especially if it comes into some cameras. But you know, in a studio, and I would say probably half of the systems that we sell, maybe more than that, maybe 75% of the systems that we sell have a second PC involved somewhere else. You know, churches, it's the two PC setup that John was talking about with ProPresenter, or in his case, Easy Worship, and then his vMix PC. But I've got one client that takes the vMix output and sends it into a second PC to be output to a video board. You know, if they could work OMT into their PC, it would save a cable, and it would save an output card and an input card, which, you know, cables, output cards, input cards, they're hardware and they break. Leveraging MPEG made it easier for camera makers to adopt. Ah, interesting. Otis loves his EW7 Panasonic PTZ cameras and NDI monitors to other areas of your campus. There you go. I bet there was. I bet there was a battle. Oh, NewTek BirdTalk came to an agreement. In turn, NewTek got access to Birdware hardware tech. And that is why they have full NDI cams today. Well, there you go. That was a good compromise. Good compromise. You don't have to beat the stew out of somebody all the time. You can meet in the middle. Everybody wins a little bit. Nobody gets everything they wanted. But they don't feel like they have to bend over and take one either. Yeah. Yeah. So I wonder, how hard would it be to take a piece of software that you've already written and is looking to, for example, the Blackmagic mini recorder installed on your system. It's looking for that driver. What if it looked for an OMT driver instead? And that the OMT driver could appear as a camera available on that PC. Well, let's just for fun, let's look and see if we open an input and we add a camera. Is there anything that says NDI OMT there? No. It's NDI webcam 1 through 4. All right. If we add NDI, we've got a bird dog camera. We've got another bird dog camera. We've got a bunch of OMT stuff from that other PC. We've got an incoming connection NDI from this machine we're on. And then we've got the camera that I'm on down here, NDI. What I would be looking for is a webcam type driver. For example, if I turn on external down here, that means that, what have I got set to external? I have an external output set. No, I don't have any set, but I've got everything set to output. But if I turn on external and I add an input, doesn't that give me an extra camera option? No. No, it doesn't. Does it give me any other options? Cam. Nope. File name can't be left blank. Well, thank you. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm obviously swimming in the shallow end of the pool once again. Ironic that it's probably also why OMT had a good chance today when using NDI. Someone somewhere wants some money. Yes. Yes. And it's obvious that the vMix people don't care about money. They really don't. I don't think they do. I think they care about value. I think they care about value to the everyday man or woman. We need an OMT equivalent like the NDI tools. Yeah. 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 So let's go back here for a second. Let's see what I've got so far as NDI tools is concerned. Probably nothing recent. NDI tools, 6. Access Manager, Bridge, NDI, Bridge Connection Manager, Router, Screen Capture, Studio Monitor, Test Patterns, Webcam. Yeah, I don't think any of these would do anything in terms of providing a source on a remote PC. I mean, yeah, supplying and providing a source on a remote PC. All right, easy worship software can see NDI both from my cameras and from my BMD quad from my vMix machine. Yes, and probably it can see your BMD quad because vMix is making that available as a NDI output, unless your software is on the same PC with vMix. Your Easy Worship's on the same PC with vMix. It's not though, is it? Yeah. Yep. It's going to take time. I think you're right, Ed. I think you're right. I mean, vMix was birthed out of the church environment. I mean, he wrote vMix so that he could live stream his church's stuff when he tried to rent a piece of equipment for, thousands and thousands of dollars for the Christmas cantata or the Easter worship or whatever it was that caused him to do it. So vMix was born in church. Yeah. I think they've got enough to be comfortable, but they want to see a revolution take place. That's what I think. It's definitely revolutionary stuff that they're talking about. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I think. All right. Yasmin. NDI OMT are easy ways to send and receive high quality, low latency video and audio between supported using standard gigabit. Absolutely. And OMT OMT is free. Ah, yes, not on, it was Easy Worship, what was it? Yeah, Easy Worship 7 and vMix running on the same machine. Both of them can see the cameras from NDI and from the Blackmagic Quad, but I'll tell you, they both can't see the cameras from the Blackmagic Quad at the same time, because that video is one only. Learned that the hard way. And Yes Man says, for example, you can produce one aspect of your show on one computer and send the output to vMix running on another. vMix supports both sending and receiving NDI and OMT. Yes, indeed it does. Yes, indeed it does. You preaching to the choir here now. Yep. Yep. Here's what I want. I want an app, an OMT app that I can put on a remote PC that will act as a webcam, that I can send video and audio to that app over the local area network using OMT, and that OMT webcam app will then show up as a camera in whatever that remote PC's other software is that doesn't run vMix, that's looking for an output from vMix. There you go. There you go. Okay. There we go. There we go. Let's see how many of you win vMix 29. Oh, 7 of you have won vMix 29 by giving us a like. So get your likes in now. Patch-based spaghetti is making my... Well, just organize it. Put labels on them, Ed. Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys, I got to fold my tents. I got work to do. I'm still busy, but I liked hanging out with you. Thank you for showing up, showing off, and showing out. And will we see you next week? I think we will. Let's see, calendar today. Yes, we will see you next week. Next week is November 5th. And I'll be leaving on the 6th to go help my son move from Melbourne to Tampa, Florida. And I'll be back on the 11th, which is a Tuesday, so that we can have a show on the 12th, which is Wednesday, and my birthday. I'm going to be 70. I've never been 70 before. So we'll see. So bring a birthday present for me. There you go. Yes. Yes. That would be fun. Ah, Otis. Ah, Ed. Thank you, Otis. Thank you, Otis. Yeah, Ron, great to have you. Always the case. That's okay. Yeah, just bring yourself. And Marie. Get Marie come. Maybe we can get Sandy on. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Where's the post-show stuff? Where is that post-show thing? Is it gone? It's gone. Look at that. Oh, no. There it is. Post-show. Yeah. Catch you later.